Now to the surveillance video that helped get a college student out of rape charges. Tonight, you're going to see that video and you're going to hear from the young man at the center of a case, raising fresh questions about campus drinking culture and what exactly constitutes consent. Here's ABC's Jim Avila.
It happens all too often. Two college students drinking too much and heading off to have sex.
We were just drinking, having a good time.
But was the woman in this case, a 19-year-old University of Southern California student, too drunk to give consent? This surveillance video appears to show her making the first move at the college bar Banditos and eventually pulling 20-year-old fellow student Armand Premji toward an Uber.
You know, just while we were talking, she put her arms around me. She started kissing me on the neck. We started making out.
But the night would end for him with allegations of rape. She ends up in the hospital with alcohol poisoning. But tonight, he's a free man, in part because of these videos. And at any time, did she say no?
No, that was consent throughout. She's the one who wanted to have sex.
According to the police report, soon after they left the bar, Premji took her to his Kappa Sigma frat house, having to carry her up the stairs, and that she was so drunk his frat brothers thought it too risky to have her there. So they head to her dorm.
I told her maybe we should wait it out, do it another day, and she said, "Why are you being such a good boy? Be a bad boy."
According to the police report, the young woman's roommates walked into the dorm room shortly after 1 in the morning and witnessed the couple having sex in the common living room. But roughly an hour later, the roommates walked out of their rooms to see the woman lying nude and passed out.
After we were done having sex, I went to use the restroom, and when I came back out, the roommates looked at me. They seemed, very upset by the fact that and I had just had sex in the living room.
Her roommates told police Premji said, "We were wasted and she was all over me." According to the police report, after Premji left, the roommates tried to wake her up, but couldn't. When the young woman finally woke up at the hospital, she remembered nothing, asking investigating officers in tears how someone could have done this to her. Her blood alcohol level was 4 times the legal limit. When did you find out there was trouble?
I didn't think too much of it at the time. It was only the following morning when the LAPD came.
What happened at the bar may be very different than what happened inside that dorm room.
Premji was arrested and charged with rape by use of drugs and sexual penetration by a foreign object. Premji was released on $200,000 bail. All along, he said the encounter was consensual.
I thought it was absurd that they would even make a charge against me.
But then last week, at a preliminary hearing, the charges were dropped. In the end, the judge ruled in Premji's favor, citing the evidence. This ruling strikes at the heart of discussions happening on college campuses all across the country about what constitutes consent and when a sexual encounter becomes a sexual assault.
She 100% could have revoked consent.
Vanessa Gregoriadis spent 3 years speaking to college students across the country, exploring consent and the rules of engagement.
It's not enough for a woman to verbally say no. The man must ask her for a yes. Yes, do you want to do this? Yes, does this seem like a good idea to you?
According to a sweeping survey of 27 universities, more than 1 in 5 female undergrads say they were victims of sexual assault or misconduct. As much as 80% of those cases reportedly involve alcohol or drugs.
He had purchased strawberries for me to drink.
Molly Morris says she quickly became too out of it to give consent. She was a student at the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, hanging out at a party with a classmate, Corey Mock, when she suddenly felt sick.
I was throwing up and feeling really dizzy, could not feel my arms or legs.
Next thing she knew, she says she blacked out.
The next morning I woke up and I was completely naked in the sheets at the base of the bed. He was at the top of the bed.
She says she immediately defined it as rape and filed a report with the school saying Corey, a wrestler on the school team, forced himself on her when she was in no condition to consent.
I now have depression streaks, anxiety streaks, night terrors.
It's on his record. His life is ruined.
But there is another side to this. C.D. Mock is Corey's father, and he says his son was completely blindsided by Morris's accusation.
He was just blown away. He didn't even know how to react.
Corey, who declined to be interviewed, told his father that he remembered the night very differently and that he and Morris had consensual sex.
Would I ever think that my son would be involved in sexual assault? Absolutely not.
The university initially dismissed the charges against Corey in a non-criminal hearing, but weeks later reversed that ruling, finding him responsible. But after that, a local court said the school improperly shifted the burden of proof. No charges were brought. But by then, CD says, the damage had been done.
If you're labeled a rapist, you can't go to parties, you can't be with any of one of the opposite sex.
All of the court documents are in here.
Molly feels damaged too, still maintaining she could not have consented and that it was rape.
Life after the assault is not even close to being what it could have been.
Armand Premji and the 19-year-old USC student are just another reminder that a fun night out can easily get out of control.
Well, I'm really sad, you know, for both of us, for what both of us had to go through because of this entire incident.
For Nightline, I'm Jim Avila in Los Angeles.